Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be part 2 of fixing the rust on the TJ. Now, like I said before, this is kind of snowballed into a much bigger project, so there's probably going to be multiple parts to this. But this is now day 4 of working on it, and I think what I'm going to do is focus on the passenger side, and then once I get this all taken care of, I'll move to the driver's side, and that'll let me keep the driver's seat in there so I can move it in and out of the garage when I need to, or still drive it if I want. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we're going to be working on today, and then we'll get to it. The main focus today is going to be hopefully getting all of this rust cleaned up and making sure that the metal's still strong enough to leave there. And then I'm going to hit it with some rust reformer and get it kind of primed up. And then I'm also going to do my best to find out what along here needs to be replaced, because the edges are still kind of weak, so I'm probably going to have to cut that back some and then put in some new metal there as well. And the big thing is today, I think I'm going to have to probably pull this roll cage, like remove the whole roll cage to do this right, which I really didn't want to do because these bolts are going to be a pain to get out, and it's just even more, in my opinion, kind of moving backwards right now instead of making progress. I'm just still tearing down the Jeep, but it's real bad through here, and this is real paper thin, so I think up to here it's starting to get good, nice and thick metal, but I think this needs to be replaced around here. It looks like underneath it's kind of rusted out, and the main metal here is the lower part of the roll cage bracket, so I should probably take care of that while I'm here instead of trying to take the easy way out. So yeah, that'll be probably the big project for today, is getting the roll cage out. I also went ahead and went up to Lowe's and grabbed a few pieces of sheet metal here. I've got one piece of 22 gauge, and then I've got 2 pieces of 16 gauge, which 16 gauge should be pretty good to work with. It's nice, thick, and sturdy, but in some of the more hard to get to areas and the areas with more curves and bends, it might be too hard to try and shape the 16 gauge, so that's why I grabbed the 22 gauge, just so it's easier to bend and work with. But I don't know, we'll see. I just figured while I was there, I might as well pick that up as well. So I was just giving it a little tap with a hammer around so I could see if there were any weak spots, and as you can see, just giving it those light taps, it was starting to cause the metal to crack and break apart here. So I think at the very least I'm going to do a small section of patch on the floor as well. I don't know, it doesn't all seem that bad, especially the more to the inside of the Jeep you get, everything seems to be in really good shape. Just seems to be the sections over here that are really bad. One other little tip, I was grinding and it's kicking dirt and dust up and rust everywhere, so I went ahead and covered my seat with some trash bags just to keep it kind of clean, because the interior, other than the rust, is actually in pretty good shape. So if you've got seats in here, you might want to cover yours as well. Okay, so the more and more I've cleaned up in here, the more holes I've started to find. I've just been dinging everything with my ball peen hammer, and it's pretty soft. Even, it's hard to see, there's even holes starting to come through here. This all dented up real easy. This is all falling to pieces, and it's pretty bad over there. I think from about here over, it's not too bad, but this is just, I don't know, it's too thin to leave like that. There's no point in doing this much work and then leaving this paper thin floor pan here. So I went ahead and ordered off of Quadratech 2 new floor pans, one for the driver and one for the passenger, and those are only 86 bucks a piece. And honestly, I should have done it sooner. I didn't think it was going to be rusting through like this, and I figured if there was a little bit I could just patch, but I mean, for $86, having a stamped piece that'll just go in there will be fine. And I'll probably, it goes, I think, over all the way to the actual trans tunnel there, but I think I'll probably cut it somewhere around here, or maybe even here, because this just all seems to be some not too bad surface rust with a little bit of pitting. So it'll just be a lot easier to fit that in there that way. So yeah, now I'm going to switch gears, and I think I'm going to start hitting this with the flap disc and clean this seam sealer off so I can get to the bolts, and then go after the roll cage, I guess. One thing with these bolts, and I assume they have like some permanent Loctite and stuff on them since it's a roll cage, if you hit them lightly with a torch for a few seconds, it'll kind of re-melt that Loctite, so that'll help break it loose, and that, coupled with using an impact, will help you quite a bit. Just keep good pressure on the impact so the bit stays in the head, because you don't want it to kind of hop out, and that, when it kind of starts to come out, that's what's going to start stripping your bolt. So keep a nice, even, square pressure with the bit in there. Alright, just so you guys know, this is a T45 Torx bit. I thought it was a T40 because the bolt was all dirty and gummed up, so I started to use that one and it started to slip a little bit, and I was like, ooh. So I had to run to the store and buy a couple T45s just in case I break one. So yeah, time to get back to it. Went fairly smooth, I guess. Alright, so I've started to remove the padding on the roll bars so I can start removing like the speakers and see the bolts better. Yeah, I've managed to get 3 out of the 4 of these out. This one's a pain and it's starting to strip and it's not coming out, so I've been soaking it in PB Blaster. I am about to hop up here and start taking these speakers off so I can start unzipping the rest of the padding and taking that off as well. One thing I am trying to do now is, as this is getting bigger and bigger and I'm taking everything apart, trying to start labeling and keeping track of the different pieces and what sides they go on for when, if I ever get to reassembly on this thing. So yeah, I don't just have a pile of bolts and a puzzle to solve. So that's a recommendation. Maybe you guys might find a better way to do it than what I'm doing, but good luck. All right, so I'm just gonna continue tearing this thing apart now, I guess.
Be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games.
Okay, so I've got all the padding and everything, speakers, wires, everything off the roll cage, and it's pretty much ready to come out. On the passenger side here, this one's still giving me trouble, so I've soaked it with PB Blaster a few times and tried multiple times now to get it out. It's not wanting to come. I got the other three out though, no problem. That side, I got those two out, but these two are giving me trouble, so I'm sitting here trying to get them out, but now I'm soaking them again with PB Blaster just to let it try and lubricate and get in there and break the rust up. So I'm gonna come back and try those again probably in half an hour, but other than that, I've gotten every bolt out except for these. Will be the last two I do. These are, I think, what they call security Torx bits, which means they have that little rod in the middle, so a regular Torx bit is solid like this, so it won't be able to go over that. So that's the security part of it. But from what I've read, you can pretty easily break off that middle piece with a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. So that's probably what I'll do, because I don't have one of the hollow ones to take them off with, so I'd have to order it. So I'll try and break it and see what happens. Okay guys, so these two security Torx bits that have the pin in the middle, so they require the special Torx bit. None of the stores around me have them. I think maybe I might have found one set for like $40 or something, and all I need is the one bit. And yeah, so Amazon, I can get one in like 2 to 3 days, but again, I didn't want to wait that long to finish this for just 2 bolts. So, bust out the old trusty pipe wrench, and these bolts are clean enough and in a good enough shape. They're not that hard to get off, so this is working for me, and I can just, well, if I'm not holding on to it, there we go, and I can just take it out now. So, pipe wrench for the win, and that's how I'm going to get these two out, and then I can finish taking the cage off. Cage is stripped down, every other bolt is out. It's like 9 o'clock at night now and dark outside, and I work in the morning, so I'll get these 2 bolts out because I couldn't sleep well without getting them out. It was going to keep me up all night. So I'll pull these out, and then I'll pull the cage off tomorrow. Alright, so I've got a buddy coming over now to help me pull the roll cage off. It's not really heavy, but it's a very tight fit, and lifting it up and then out, I don't want to ding up any of the non-rusted metal, the good metal I have left. So those will just keep me from scratching or denting anything. So he'll be here in a minute, and then we can pull the roll cage out and I guess start looking at more rust and cleaning up more of that. Well, I got the roll cage pulled out. Underneath where the bars were mounted are just rusted and gone. It's pretty rough down here. Same thing on the other side, so that's not great. But yeah, it looks kind of cool without the cage in there or the back seat. Looks a lot more reminiscent of one of the old military Jeeps this way. So other than pulling that out today, I cleaned up the feet on this. This was all rusty, so I wire wheeled it and hit it with the flap disc on the grinder and got it nice and clean too. So yeah, that's probably all I'm going to do for today. I think I'm going to take a light day. It's already getting dark out. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up part 2 of the Project Wally series I'm doing. So if you want to keep up with the videos, be sure to subscribe. That way you know when I drop new content. I've got a lot planned for the Jeep still. I've got a ton of new parts downstairs that I just can't even put in yet, but those are going to be future videos. I'm going to be upgrading the Jeep a lot so I can do some more trips this year. But currently, I'm just going to focus on getting the rust fixed so it's a solid foundation to build up from. So please drop a comment, tell me what you think of the videos. I'm trying to make them a little bit better. I hope you guys enjoy it. See you on the next one.